Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and today we'll be talking about range-based for loop in C++. If you have been programming in C++ for a while, then you must be familiar with a for loop that you use to iterate a set of instructions a number of times based on certain conditions, and you have this variable that you initialize to a certain number. Then you change the variable with each iteration, and it will keep on performing the uh, iteration until the condition specified is satisfied. The versions of C++ after 11, a specialized version of for loop. Okay, it's a specialized version and that you use especially when you have to iterate through a set of containers, specific containers, and iterate through its member, and either you can print the member, you can perform operation on the member based on certain condition, or whatever you want to do with. So it's like you iterate through each of the element, and you can do whatever you want to do in the body of the for loop like any normal for loop. So each time the loop iterates, it copies an element from the array to a built-in variable known as the range variable. The range-based for loop automatically ignores the number of elements in an array or any other containers. Like a vector, you can have a list, and you can have all sort of those data structures. Okay, so why this instead of the traditional form of the for loop? Well, if you have coded a little bit in C++, then you must know that you have to deal with a lot of other external variables based on which the loop happens, the iteration happens. And if you are especially iterating through a container, then you have to keep in mind a couple of things, like the size of the containers, and you have to just think about bounds checking, all kind of things, all kind of those things. So this is what a range based for loop looks like. I know this image is a little blurred, but I think you can understand it just fine. Okay, we have a range based for loop, and we just have two criterias. We have a member and a container. The score is a member, grade is a container. So with each iteration, what happens is the every member of grade, for an iteration, its value is copied into the score, the variable. You can use a keyword auto to detect which kind of which data type grade store. And in this particular example, we are passing the value by reference, so you'll be working on the original members of the grades, not a copy of them. Okay, so okay, so here we are into the IDE, and let's just uh, first of all, let me tell you that you should include a vector header file so that we can use vectors in the code that we are going to write. And we are going to initialize a vector. First we will declare a vector named vec that stores some integers. Then we gonna initialize those integers, the values, with 24893 in this particular example. Now we're gonna write the conditions and the initializing variable for the for loop. So bear with me right now. Okay, it's just a classic for loop. It will iterate through the vector for the number of times the same as the size of the vector. So it will iterate through each of the member of the vector for one time. And we're gonna so we have written some lines of codes. So sorry for my grammar, I'm not like super fluent in English. Well, okay, we are writing some lines of codes that will print out. Let's see how it compiles. Okay, I hope it compiles, and we're gonna separate the outputs of each the iteration with a line, so it will be much easier to read. Yeah, here you see. Okay, so we're gonna add some spaces, and we're gonna the square brackets, the subscript notation that you have used while you were accessing array elements before you if you have coded in C++, as I've said before. That's like the first thing that you learn when you learn about arrays in C++. Okay, we're gonna display the original value. We're gonna update it as an update it, and we are gonna store it into the new store a new value into it. We're gonna increase it in this particular example. Okay, we're gonna print the value updated and the new value in a separate line, and we're gonna put a dash, a line made up of dashes, and we're gonna, okay, let me comment this out, and now we're gonna see how we're gonna achieve the same thing, the same level of functionality, the same iteration to the elements of a container, using a for loop. So I have used the keyword auto because it will automatically determine the type of data that is to be stored in the value variable based on what the vec container, the vector, has stored in itself. Okay, we're going to print the value. Let's just see if the program compiles. We're gonna print the value, and we're gonna increase the value, and we will try to print the increased value. So it's very basic stuff. Okay, that's not what I intended to do, but let's see. Oh, I forgot the end line, and now it should says print. We have got an error. We're gonna fix the syntax, and hopefully we will get something. Okay, now this is much better. We're gonna add a line, and with each iteration we can see how the value of different members are displayed and changed, and display again the new value. Okay, this is how a for loop works in the modern versions of C++, and way much easier, way much more interesting and elegant way of writing code in C++. If you are writing a for loop just to iterate through the elements. So this much in this video.